Nice to meet you, Greg, and thanks for your time today. This is going to be really helpful. Obviously, we're just going to go through just a chat really about, bits of your life really, hopefully, that you're willing to talk to us about, and just explain an insight really into how you sort of went through your early years into the kind of, because as we've discussed earlier, you have had a bit of a time where you had a few run-ins with the police over the years.
Yeah.
And then you've come out the other side into producing, a successful business person and moving on. So all we're going to really try and look at really today is the kind of scope of how we got from your early years with all the run-ins with the police and a little bit of offending through to where you are today, supporting a great charity, Men Unite, and moving forward with your life.
Yeah, great.
So okay.
That's fine, yeah.
So really truthfully, the first thing I was sort of looking at is, well, in the early days, what's your first kind of memory really of sort of getting into trouble, with the police, where the police were involved?
Obviously, I think it's probably something that you never forget, is it? The first time that you get in trouble with the police. And my first sort of run-in, if you like, was on a school field trip. Me and my mates, we both got arrested for actually nicking a Mars bar. I think it was I nicked a Mars and he nicked a Marathon, as they were called back then, the Snickers now. And it was quite embarrassing really when you look back now and think of it, because it was like all the class were on a minibus outside. We stopped off on a geography field trip to go to the shop, and me and my mates sort of, I don't know, I can't remember the full details because it's 30 odd years ago, but we didn't have the money to go in the shop, I suppose. And we nicked this Mars bar, nicked the Snickers. We got collared literally straight away. The shopkeeper had got cameras up, and there was uproar. The teacher sort of had to put an end to the trip, and the police got called. And I'll never forget, we got put in a cell, believe it or not. And I think I must have been probably 14, 15. And my mate Damien was in the next cell, and it was all laughing and joking.
We go from that event, and through your younger years then, there was other times then it progressed into more dealings with the police.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, I've been in prison 3 times. I think I've been arrested 18 times in my life, or over 18 times. Ultimately, violent assault ended. It was, only a few years back, 2016. So yeah, it was kind of that chain of events that led to that. I would imagine it's the roller coaster ride, isn't it? From what started off as nicking a Mars bar because I couldn't afford to buy a Mars bar, ultimately ended up committing a horrific crime and ended up in prison.
Now, obviously, you got to this point in time, and there was a turning point. There was a point when your life seemed to turn itself round.
Yeah.
What was that turning point? How did you get to that point?
I ended up in prison in 2013, and I started writing a book, as it were, almost a journal. I started writing like almost a journal of my life in prison, and I just realised that I didn't want to be in prison, obviously, and it was time to sort of grow up, as it were. And I'd realised that I'd lost a lot over the years. So yeah, I ended up in prison in 2013, and it was at that moment that I realised that I'd got to do something positive with my life. I didn't want this life. I didn't want to be in prison, and I knew that sort of my friends on the outside, they were getting on with their lives. They were buying their own house. They were having all these nice holidays, having the nice cars, and I was the same age as them, and I'd got nothing to show for it.
So if we were to sort of ask you now and say, listen, you've got that chance to speak to the Craig of the young, that 14, 15-year-old boy, what advice or what words would you be giving that young man now?
Wow. I would probably say, like I've just said, try and look at the bigger picture. There's the little petty crimes or the little easy sort of fixes that you could do. To the quick fixes. They aren't really a quick fix. Ultimately, they bring a lot of misery and a lot of heartache and a lot of years of sort of struggling. I've kind of lost 20 years of my life really to get to the point where I am today. Has taken me 20 years of a real roller coaster, and in that 20 years, I've lost everything. Couple of times, came out of prison with just a black bin bag to my name, or a carrier bag of clothes to my name, and that's it.